board. If you guys want to introduce yourselves. No. Oh, Sam has no audio, but Sam is our president, and I am your external vice president.
Hello, I'm Min. I'm the internal vice president.
Is Callista here?
And Callista's not here, but she's our secretary.
I'm Yvonne. I'm the event coordinator.
Hi, I'm Nina. I am the treasurer and one of the cultural chairs for VSA.
Oh, hello. I'm Jacqueline. I'm the historian and the other co-cultural chair.
I'm Rachel. I'm one of the public relations chairs.
I'm Alan. I am one of the fundraising chairs.
Alvin and John couldn't make it, but Alvin is our public relations and John is our fundraising chair. So let's move on to our mission statement. So the mission statement of the Vietnamese Student Association is to spread awareness of the Vietnamese American cultural identity to its members and community, educate and empower through various programs and activities, tackle any social, cultural barriers, and an aid in community service alongside other affiliations of the Asian American Student Union.
So through VSA, we have a lot of annual events, one of it being ACE, which is the An program. It's a big little program. It usually happens in the fall, but we moved it to the spring this year because of COVID and everything. So be on the lookout for that. And VSA Olympics is like VSA, other VSA schools coming together to play sports. It's usually in Georgia, I believe. And then Tally by Night is a play on like Paris by Night, which is kind of like a show in Vietnam that we hold every year, but we didn't get to hold one last year due to COVID. And Mid-Autumn Festival we do with the Chinese American Student Organization, the Korean American Student Association, which is kind of like Mid-Autumn, our theme today. And then other ASU and affiliate banquets, which we attend because we like supporting each other in ASU.
VSA also has networking and traveling events. Most significant is the South event, which is for all the Vietnamese student associations in the Southeast region of the United States. We normally just have a camp over the weekend. This year they'll be having it online. There's also Night in Saigon, which is a pretty good event. I've never been to it, but I've heard a lot of great things about it, and that's held in Georgia. There's also a convention called Element, held by UVSAs, which is the Union of Vietnamese Student Association of Southeast, I believe. And yeah, that's all of the networking that we, opportunities we have with VSA.
So what VSA does throughout the year, we try to hold GBMs or general body meetings. And at these meetings, we'll have icebreakers for new members and old members to get to know each other, for the new members to talk to upperclassmen and see what the rest of the VSA is about. We play a bunch of games. We have a lot of educational events like workshops, such as cultural workshops or sometimes language workshops. We also have social events that are held at either on campus or sometimes off campus. And we build on a lot of topics in relation to Vietnam, such as cultural, food, yeah, and there's a lot of community, a lot of things focused on community at these GBMs. And yeah, these are some pictures that we have had. We've also had the VSA family dinner. That was during the spring when COVID just hit. So that was one of our first virtual GBMs, and it turned out pretty great.
Sorry, I was on mute. Moving into our theme, Mid-Autumn Festival, also known as Tết Trung Thu, is celebrated on the 15th day of the 8th month in the lunar calendar. So roughly around September, mid-September, or beginning of October. And people of all ages love to celebrate this holiday as it signifies like the end of the autumn harvest. It's observed by many East and Southeast countries such as China, Vietnam, Taiwan, Korea, Japan, Indonesia, and many other East and Southeast countries.
During this festival, there are so many activities. I only know a few. The most common is making lanterns, and I believe the courtship and matchmaking, that's pretty common too. Ascent to heaven, I believe that's like, there's a story for this beautiful woman. She is named Ki Hang, who lives in the moon, and we normally celebrate, we can normally see her on the 15th day of August because that's when the moon is full and you can see her. And the others, I am not sure. I've never done these activities. Descent into the garden, descent of the 8 immortals, and encircling the toad. I am not sure of these. But for different types of food, we normally have mooncakes, which is pastry wrapped in either rice flour or a pastry. And in there, it has bean paste and an egg yolk. And there are other cakes available too. And it represents like food for the deities. Specific to Vietnam, villagers would shape rice paste into different animals and dye them with different colors to make it more colorful. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
So now we're going to talk about the cuisine of Vietnam. As you know, there's 3 regions in Vietnam: the northern, central, and southern. Within each region, there's a lot of different foods. So I'll be talking about the northern ones. And the first one that came to my mind was bún chả, which combines grilled pork, rice vermicelli with pickled carrots and daikons, lettuce, green papaya, and fresh herbs. It's often served with fish sauce as well as like a thing that you pour over, and then you mix it in and just eat it.
So for the central, it's bánh bèo. It's one of my favorite dishes. It's a combination of rice flour and tapioca flour. The main ingredients are rice cakes, dried shrimps, and crispy pork skin. It's best eaten with fish sauce, like most of Vietnamese cuisine.
And in the southern region, we have Bánh Xèo, which is crispy Vietnamese crepe. It's often filled with bean sprouts, pork or shrimp, and green onion. And they're normally served with lettuce, but in Vietnam, we normally have it with a mustard leaf, and other pickled vegetables, and nước mắm that is on the sweeter side.
So one of the things that we had is the t-shirt design for VSA. We released it mid-October, I'm pretty sure, and it's available for pre-order until Halloween at 11:59. More information about it can be found in VSA's bio on Instagram in the Google's form if you are interested. Each shirt is $16.
Also to mention, it's designed by Yvonne herself. I also want to make an announcement on our collaboration with SASA, the Southeast Student Association, GBM, this next week on Friday for a murder mystery. So please come out to support us. And along with that, we will be having a fundraiser at a new place in town called Straw Hat Pokey. They have pokey and boba. So please come and support us.
Yeah, and if you send us a picture of on Instagram, tag us, you'll enter yourself in a raffle for a free VSA shirt from last year. And so that brings us towards the end of our presentation today, and we're going to transition to Chef Jesse, where he'll be making the southern dish Bánh Xèo, which was a popular street snack in Vietnam. Name means sound crepe and refers to the sound of the batter makes when it hits the hot skillet and served with fresh herbs. The shrimp stuffed crepe is rolled up in a leaf of lettuce and dipped in the cham dipping sauce, which is usually fish sauce on the sweeter side, like Nina said. So yeah, and that's all we'll have.
Thank you all, and let's transition to Chef Jesse. Hey, Jesse.
Hey, Yang. How are you doing, everyone? Welcome to the Globe Kitchen. Thank you so much for that presentation, Jerry and VSA. Today, I'm going to show you how to make a very delicious and exciting dish. It's called Bánh Xèo. It's loosely translated to sizzling pancake. So, Bánh Xèo. And so this is, I wrote a recipe for you all, but then I found this mix at Lynn's. And so they have a pre-mix of the rice flour and wheat flour for the pancake part. And it has a little packet of turmeric in it too. So I mean, you can make it from scratch if you have these things, but you don't have to buy big packages. You can just go and get this, and it's relatively cheap. This one's $1.99. Another one we tried yesterday was like $1.25. So, and this one pack makes like tons too. So if you are gonna make this, plan on having a lot left over or feeding a lot of people. All right, so let's get into these ingredients. For the batter, you're gonna need the packet. You're gonna need 3 green onions sliced, a little bit of salt, like a teaspoon of salt, 3.5 cups water, and then a can of coconut milk. For our Ngoc Mom dipping sauce, we've got some fish sauce, a lime, garlic, and some some bird eye chilies, and then some sugar as well. And then for our filling for the sizzling pancake, we've got some shrimp. These are large shrimp. They've been cleaned and deveined, and then they were pretty thick. So I even sliced them in half so they're not so thick. Some raw onion, just sliced pretty thinly. And this is pork belly. And I got all this stuff at Publix. I don't think the shrimp's on sale. The shrimp was actually like $7.99 a pound last week. But this is a pork belly. It's in the meat section, and it comes pre-packed. So it's not like butchered there at the store. And they call it salt pork. So it is, it's not cured, but it is salted somewhat. So it's not very salty, but it's a little salty. But it's not smoked like bacon would be. And bacon is pork belly too. It's just smoked and cured. And then we also have some bean sprouts here. And I just, I got a few of these things from Lynn's Asian store. The bean sprouts just come in 1 pack. And that was plenty for a whole batch here. And then for the greens, and this is the fresh kind of filling. This is the cooked filling. This is the fresh filling. We've got red leaf lettuce, which is kind of an alternative if you can't find mustard. I went back to Lynn's today and I found some mustard. It's really crispy, slightly bitter green, really delicious, and it adds a nice kind of fresh, moist, crunchy element to it. So definitely look out for the mustard if you can get it. And then I've got fresh cilantro, and then also some fresh mint. Gotta have some mint. This is definitely the herbs are vitally important to this recipe. So really assembling all your ingredients is the easy part. The challenging part of this recipe is the cooking. So it's pretty, relatively easy to make like a pancake. But these are not just pancakes. There's a multiple stage kind of cooking process for them. And what you're looking for is for it to come out very crispy. And so we're gonna cook it And I've got 3 different pans we're gonna try today, because I wanna figure out which one of these is gonna work the best. I got this one, is a non-stick skillet. Got this from the Asian store. It's still, well, it's called Helperware. I thought it said Farberware. But it's about, what, 11 inches. It's got sloping sides, non-stick. Any kind of non-stick, you're gonna not wanna use metal, so you gotta use plastic on it so you don't scrape it. That's why I usually don't have non-stick, because I ruin it really fast. And then I've got your standard 12-inch saute pan, stainless steel. And we're gonna try it on this too, see if we can make it work. And then finally, this is the only size wok that I have, but you know, if you have a wok at home, it's probably not this size, but sounds like traditionally it's made in a wok. So we're gonna try to make it in this wok as well and see how it turns out. These woks are pretty much non-stick because they've been cooked on. It's a high carbon stainless, or it's just a high carbon steel. I don't think it's stainless actually. But then when you cook on it, you season it with some oil, and then it creates this non-stick finish. So the wok's gonna be fun. So we're gonna try all 3 today and see how they turn out. And we're also going to make this dipping sauce. So the first thing you're gonna wanna do is put the batter together. And so the batter can be put together the night before, or this one, I just read the instructions on this one. It said it could be put together in just in 10 minutes, let it sit for 10 minutes. So let's put this together first, then we'll make the dipping sauce, and then we'll get in and start trying to make these sizzling pancakes. All right, so easiest way here is gonna be some scissors. All right, we're just gonna pour this flour out here, and supposedly there's a turmeric packet in there, so we're gonna have to find that packet before we add any liquids. Let's see what we got here. There we go. And then we're gonna wanna add the turmeric to it first. There we go, before we add any fluids. Okay, and then we're gonna mix that turmeric in with the whisk so we get a nice even, whoops, I got some in the sugar. I think we can get around that. All right. Let's also add a little bit of salt right now. I'm just gonna do like a pinch, big pinch, half teaspoon or so. Not super important. You definitely don't wanna put too much in because the dipping sauce for this is sweet and salty. So let's go ahead with our water. I've got about 3.5 cups here. We're just gonna add this in slowly as we whisk. This batter is gonna really turn out pretty thin. Don't be too concerned, it should be pretty watery. Yesterday when I was test running this, I did not think it was gonna work, but it really did. Usually, even with like a French crepe batter, it's not going to be as thin as this one. Okay. Here we go. I'm just scraping down the sides, scraping all around here, making sure I get all that flour mixed in. Then we're going to add the can of coconut milk. The coconut milk actually makes it a little bit more thick, just because the fat in it is so rich and thick. Yes. The coconut milk's really important. I think if you just did water, you'd be definitely missing the fat from the coconut milk. It probably helps it not stick. And also that flavor. You don't get a strong coconut flavor from it, but I'm sure it adds a nice background note that you don't really notice unless you're missing it. All right. Coconut can out of the way. All right, so I spilled my flour in the sugar. I'm going to be careful not to get any of that in my dipping sauce. But let's start with this dipping sauce now. We're going to let this batter sit for a minute. All right, so I'm going to put on a glove because these chilies are hot. Definitely hotter than jalapenos. Probably hotter than serrano chilies. Not as hot as habaneros. But for the amount we're going to make today, we're just going to use 1 chili. If you really like it very spicy, you can add more. I leave the seeds and everything in on this, and I just slice it as thin as possible. I like the red ones, but oh, you can get multiple colors. You can get green, kind of yellowish, and orange. The red really just kind of makes this pop, and it's really gives it a nice decorative look. Next, we've got 1 garlic clove. These are kind of small, so I'm actually going to break 2 off. And I like to use fresh garlic, as you all know. It tastes so much better than the pre-ground or pre-peeled stuff. And this is easy to deal with. You just smash it, and then you can get these skin right off. And then I even will come and cut off that little bits here. And then even this little germ in here, I'd like to take these little green sprouts out too. Okay. And then from here, oh, there's a little more. From here, I'm just gonna kind of gently mince it up a little bit. I don't want big chunks of this at all. So I'm gonna take the side of my knife, I'm gonna take my hand on there, and I'm gonna scrape it across. And that's just going to completely pulverize and smash the garlic up into a paste almost. Scrape it back up off the cutting board. Go back over it a couple times. Kind of like juicing the garlic, getting all that flavor out of there, so it'll mix in with this acidic fish sauce, pungent fish sauce. All right, so we've got 2 small garlic cloves or 1 large. We're going to do 2 tablespoons of sugar. Okay, I'm going to take this glove off. Let me kind of grab this stuff real quick. And then fish sauce, we're going to do 1 tablespoon fish sauce. So these are all just proportions. 1 part fish sauce, 2 parts sugar, 5 parts water. And you can make any amount that you want. You make a big batch for a restaurant, or you can make a small batch at home. This won't go bad. You can keep this in a Tupperware in your house, in your fridge. You definitely keep it refrigerated and pull it out for all types of different foods to have this as a condiment with. Definitely goy kun, the summer rolls, this is good with. How many did I put in there? 4? You counting, Laura? You're not backing me up here? Okay. Let's go 5. 1 more. And let me grab a spoon. Okay, now we're just going to gently mix this. Get that sugar to mix in. And we're going to cut this lime in half. And we're going to squeeze a good bit of lime juice in there. It doesn't have to be a half a lime. You want about a tablespoon of lime juice. I think that's a pretty good. Okay. All right, so this is our Nuoc Mam. It's a slightly sweet version. So we did the normal ratio would be equal parts sugar and fish sauce. And so we added 2 parts sugar, 1 part fish sauce. And you can change this to your liking. So if you want it spicier, add another chili. If you like a more pronounced fish, sauce flavor, you can add a little more fish sauce. If you like the lime, you can, this is just like a base recipe. And a lot of people put their own little twists on this and make it to their liking. So I encourage you to do the same. All right, we're going to set this aside. I'm going to put my sugar over here. This is unfortunately done. And sorry, let me wipe this up real quick. Now we're going to move over to the stove. I'll flip this. We've got our batter here slightly thickened up. Before we start cooking, we're going to add the green onions to it. And let me get my ingredients together over here. closer to the stove. You want to have everything pretty close to the stove while you're doing this because it goes pretty fast. If you figure out a pan that works for you, it is really helpful to have 2 pans going on the stove. So as you're cooking one, you can start another pan and start another one, so you can like rotate pans and really knock these out, because this recipe is going to make a lot. I mean, I think we could probably make 20 to 25 of these. And I think typically this is like a big family kind of meal or street food type of thing. So, street food vendors are going to be obviously making a lot of these, and families feeding all their family and everything. So this is kind of a big recipe meant to feed a crowd. Okay, so let's start over. Well, I practiced in this one yesterday. I did not practice in these other two, so it's going to be a first time for me. So this one is all about temperature control. On an electric oven or stove, it's going to be easier to control the temperature. I've got these huge burners that just want to kind of be on high or low. And so I'm going to try to get mine onto about a medium or so to start off with. Whatever pans you're using, you also need lids that are going to fit each pan. They can go over the edge, that's fine, but they can't be smaller, because we're going to kind of cook the vegetables and finish cooking the meats in the crispy pancake in the pan, and we need to kind of steam it so that we have a lid on it. I'm going to turn on my fan really quick here. Okay. All right, we're going to try this first one. Put the green onions in. All right, other thing that's useful is either having a squirt bottle for your oil, or having like a pour topper, on your oil, so you can pour it out and control it easily. For this first one, we're just going to add a little tiny bit of oil here, not starting heavy on the oil, and then we're going to get our pork belly in. It's funny, the flames go up. Oh no, I'm turning it up. I thought I was turning it down. Oops. All right, so just a couple pieces of pork belly. Not too many here. That's going to release some of its own fat too. And we're going to put a couple of shrimp. Not a whole ton of shrimp here. A little bit of shrimp. Oh yeah, that's too hot. All right, so I'm turning down this little pan. That got a little bit too hot. The pan is smoking, that's too hot. This one's a little bit better. Yeah, this is not the best burner for this one. There we go. I think I got it. There we go. Okay. And then we're also going to put in a couple of onions. Not many. This is just a little bit of filling here. Okay. Oh, more onions. Laura likes the onions. Okay, I'm going to flip my shrimp a little bit here. Whoops, that's kind of sticking. I don't know about this stainless pan. I don't think it's going to work too well on this one. I think we got too many sticky spots. You know what? I got a secret weapon though. I'm going to put on my non-stick spray. We'll see if that helps, but I don't know. I will do a little non-stick on here. Okay. Don't have a lot of space here, so I'm going to put this behind. I've got my green onions in there now, and I've got a pretty small ladle. This is kind of the same thing as like if you're making breakfast pancakes at home. The first one never turns out quite right. You need that warm-up batch. Let's see if we can get this one the first time. So this ladle's a little bit big for this pan. So I'm not going to fill it up all the way. I'll fill it up about 3/4. What you do is you pour the batter in, and you roll it around. You want a very thin layer. And then this shrimp just broke away right there. We're gonna put a little bit more in there. All right, let's try this one too. This one's a little bit bigger, so I'm gonna do a full ladle. All right, give it a good shot. And then from here, we put in some bean sprouts. Whoops, drop some. And we're gonna adjust our heat and put lids on it. All right, so heat, we're gonna turn down a little bit, but we're still staying pretty close to medium. We're not, the final cooking process, we can turn it up kind of high to help crispen it up if it doesn't crisp up with this first bit here. So the first cooking stage, we cooked our meats, we added our crepe batter, we swirled the crepe batter, we put a lid on it, we cook it for about another minute. And then after we cook it for a little minute here, we'll take off the lids. We're gonna remove the edge of the crepe from the pan, and we're gonna try to squirt some oil into the bottom and turn it up higher so it gets a really crispy finish. But we're gonna let this cook for a minute here. I'm gonna heat up this wok, so we'll try the wok too. Jerry, is there anything you all wanna say about Bánh Xèo?
Yeah, I was just gonna talk about how my family makes them. You did mention that it is a popular street food, but it can be used as like the main entree. My family usually makes it whenever we have like large gatherings or like parties or whatever. So my aunts would make it in like huge batches, but sometimes would make it for the my younger cousins, and since they don't really get how to wrap things in lettuce yet, or they're not really good at it, what I would do is I would just put it in a bowl for them, cut up a bunch of lettuce, pour some sauce in it, and just mix it up and have them eat it like a salad in a bowl. But usually what you would do is you would just take the lettuce, you put the pancake in the lettuce and wrap it and then dip. But some of the younger kids aren't as proficient at it as some us experienced users are. But yeah, it's a very filling dish. I eat a lot. I'm pretty hungry boy, but after two, I'm pretty full. And you can make them as big as you want or as small as you want. It just totally depends on how much you put in the pan or what pan you're using. But since my family uses a wok, the pancakes usually turn out pretty big.
Cool. All right, so I'm starting this one in the wok here. See how this goes. Couple of these, couple of those. Oh, little extra onions for Laura. All right, we're gonna let this one start cooking here. We can kind of check this first one and see where we're at. Oh yeah, so we're getting a little translucent around the edges, a little bit crispy on that very thin area. But I think this could cook a little bit longer. Let's leave it go. Let's check this one out though. Oh yeah, this one's a little bit higher temperature, and it's looking pretty good actually. As long as we can get it off the pan. I'm not sure if we will be able to, but we're gonna give it a shot. All right, so we've got some wok tools.
So Jesse, someone was asking if they don't like veggies, what are other substitutes that they can put in it?
They don't have what?
If they don't like veggies, what else can they put in it?
Oh, if they don't like veggies, well, you could put I don't know. What do you think, Jerry? Maybe Sam should answer that one.
Without veggies, you kind of need the veggies. It's a very herb reliant dish, you know. I mean, without it, you kind of get.
Yeah, the veggies really complement, but I know my family puts squid in it, so you can always substitute squid if you don't like veggies.
Some more protein.
Yeah.
I think it's easier to get away from the meat. Like you could definitely put like baked tofu instead of meat in here if you wanted to. Because the batter itself, I mean, it's vegan. It looks like it's like an omelet almost, but it's, you know, that's just the turmeric. All right, here we go. So our nonstick one's looking pretty good. See how this comes along here. It's definitely not sticking. That's good news. So what I'm going to do is kind of lift up the edge. I'm going to put a little extra oil down in the bottom there. And then I'm going to turn up the heat. Kind of get it frying. Hopefully it'll crispen up really nice. Let's see how this, whoa, that one got too crispy. Uh-oh, too crispy. That's extra crispy. Maybe somebody will like that. All right. Okay, so I was adjusting this temperature on this one is a little bit high. Let's see, oh, it's a little stuck right there. Where the meat was, it's sticking, uh-oh. Yeah, I don't think this trying to do it in a stainless steel pan is a good idea. I tried and I failed. At least it's the first one, I'll try it again. All right, so yeah, as we can see, stainless steel pan, not so great. I think the flaw came with the meat kind of stuck to the pan at first, and then the batter stuck to where the meat was, because we're on this side where I was gonna put the pan spray down, it didn't stick at all. So.
In Vietnam, if you go to like the street vendors, they have their special skillets that they use, and they just like flip bánh xèo out every like few seconds. It's amazing to watch.
That's cool. Yeah, they're masters at it, sounds like. I
would say,
at it.
yeah, this is definitely a very crispy one. I bet someone would like it. Like my mom loves the crispy rice.
Yeah.
When you cook rice in the rice cooker, the bottom actually are like, we say it's burned one and crispy, but she just specifically likes the bottom one.
Right. Yeah, no, I mean, it's not burnt, but it's not gonna be, it's not that pretty though either. But yeah, once you wrap it up in the lettuce and stuff, it'd be kind of hard to tell. All right, let's see if we can get that cleaned up in there. Maybe not. All right. Laura says to move on. I'm moving on. All right, so back over to the wok. Our veggies and stuff look good here. A little bit brown actually, but that's all right. This is gonna be tough because it's such a big wok to be able to turn it while I put the batter in. But let's see what we can do here. Let's see what we can do. We're gonna do a whole one. All right. Let me get my other mitt. 2 mitts. Okay. It's in there. We will put our bean sprouts. I got a giant lid for that one. Okay, now I think this one is getting pretty crispy. Let's see in the middle here. Oh, it's a little soft still. I'm gonna turn it up on high to hopefully super crisp it up. We will turn this one out in a second. Got a little bean sprout caught up in there. All right. So I can see after you do a few rounds of this, you know, you get into the motion and you just start pumping them out. But yeah, the first few, definitely a learning curve here. And getting these temperatures right too, and is really the key. Oh yeah, that looks pretty good. I think we're there. I think we're there. Oops. Oh, that looks pretty crispy. Y'all hear that? That's the sizzling. All right. Definitely crispy. Very nice. I like this nonstick pan. I think it's worth the investment in the nonstick. Let's see where we're at in this one. It's kind of soon here. Turn this thing up a little bit. And we're gonna move on and plate this one we just did. So we can keep moving on here. Come on. Yeah, this needs to cook a little more before it'll come off the edge. This one isn't ready yet. All right, we'll let that go. Let's finish. We'll put together this one and we'll see how the wok comes out in a minute. I'm gonna turn it down a little bit. Okay. So finishing touches here. We're gonna bring our platter of greens and herbs over. One kind of fun thing too, I'll do this one. Central Vietnam, not only do they have the herbs and lettuce, but they use a rice paper wrapper around it as well. I think that's totally convenient eating with your hands. It's great. Let me get some hot water real quick. Oops. Just get one of these rice papers ready for us here. We're going to dunk one in the water. Okay. All right, so we've got our mustard here and our nuoc mam. And what you would do, nice and crispy. You hear how crispy that is? I don't know if you can hear that. It's very crispy. We do a little sprig of cilantro here and a little bit of mint as well. And this is how you would get it in a restaurant or whatnot. And so you just kind of eat it with your hands and put it together. And let's see, where's a knife? Got this one for the line. Oh yeah, that's very crispy. And then you put it into the lettuce or the mustard. And then you're gonna put a little cilantro. You pull off just the leaves of the mint, add that. And then you wrap it together and you dunk it into the nuoc mam and away you go. Looks pretty good, huh? Very fresh, really refreshing, light food. Get that crispy pancake. Oh, here we go. All right, so here's how they do it. This is Southern Vietnam is with the lettuce. Then Central Vietnam is with the rice wrap. So what I saw they did it with a whole one actually. The whole thing in there. We'll get a little bit of lettuce in here. Some cilantro. And then a little bit of mint. Let's see if we can do it here. And it's the same kind of roll that we did for the goi kun. Fold it over. Fold this part over. Kind of like an envelope fold, and you just kind of roll it up. There you go. Then you would just dip it like this. Yeah, I got to do it. Sorry, I got to try it like this. Mm. Mm. That is very delicious. Oh yeah. I wish y'all could try some, but I know at least you could try to make it at home. Delicious dish. Thank you all for joining us today. Uh-oh, steaming over here. Uh-oh. Looks like this one kind of sucked too. I need some work on my wok technique. Got a little too crispy and maybe not enough batter for this one. I'll mess around with that and get it off there. Doing it in a wok is a real skill. Definitely get the non-stick pan if you're gonna make your life easy. Thanks again for joining us. See you all again. Have a good weekend.
Thank you, Jesse. And thank you for your great demonstration at the end of eating it and chewing it with your asthma sound all the time. It's really, it is pure asthma. Thank Thank you. That's great. That's great. Thank you so much. And Jerry, I'm not sure if there's anything that you want to share and your members that want to share at last before we enter to next session.
No, just that we have our t-shirts for pre-order right now. To get the messages, Yvonne has typed out the details of the pre-ordering, and we have our fundraiser next week. And yeah, keep an eye out